Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader, and it is Friday, so it's time for my what to buy on eBay video. I've got some vintage collection, some really awesome comics that are mainly at auction, I believe, that are really tough to find. So we'll go through those. And then I've got loose graded and some mint on card vintage figures. And as always, in the video description, there will be eBay affiliate links for you to either buy it now or to place an early low bid using those links. And if you come back when the auction is ending to bid for real and win it, then it does help out the channel. And I appreciate those of you that do that. I also have a couple of shout outs to give. I have a new Patreon supporter, Mark David Garcia. Thank you so much for becoming a Patreon supporter. And then Dominic R sent me a YouTube super for my mint on card video from Monday. And I really appreciate that. Dominic has been so generous to me. You have more money than sense, man. So just really appreciate the channel support, man. I hope to get to meet you one day, have some great conversations with you offline. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at what I picked out today. I made this video a little earlier than I like to in the week because I started looking at my calendar and I am just absolutely slammed with work. I'm working like 70-hour weeks. It's just absolutely insane right now for real estate. So I've got to get this out for you guys, but it's not as voluminous as I'd like it to be. I wish I had more stuff, but I'm filming this a little earlier than I like. All right, so we've got some vintage collection, and they are at auction. And just a heads up, these end pretty quickly after this video goes live. Okay, so if you're interested in these vintage collection items, go ahead and check out the links in the video description because they're going to end pretty quick. This is an unpunched VC-61 prototype armor Fett. The starting bid price is $60, and the shipping is $9. And this one ends Friday afternoon at 6:35 Eastern time or 5:35 my time. So again, I'm going to be releasing this video around 5 o'clock Eastern. So if you're looking for one of those, it looks to be in really clean shape, comes in a star case, and that one again ends at 6:35 Eastern. Same seller also has the rocket firing VCP-03 Boba Fett, and this one is also unpunched and appears to be in good shape. I mean, you're taking a little risk because they're in star cases in the photos, but they're here in the US, $75, one bid on this one, and that one also ends Friday evening. And then here's another one that is a buy it now situation. This one is the same VCP-03, comes with the mailer box. It looks to be in really clean shape, unpunched. The list price on that is $120. So not a terrible price. I mean, in an ideal world, you get this one, right? But if you lose this one, I'm expecting this to go for $100 to $110, somewhere in that ballpark. That's where they've been selling lately. But if you lose that one, you got this one. That's at $120 with $8 shipping. So a little bit more expensive, but that's a couple of options for VCP-03. And we also talked about in my last TVC market update how much Jango Fett is moving up in price. We documented one that sold at $140. We documented a Canadian example that sold at $160. This one is also an auction ending Friday evening at around 7 o'clock, 6:55 Eastern time, for the unpunched VC-34 Jango Fett that's also in very clean condition. And the starting bid on that one is $100 with $9 shipping. So it's below where they've been selling lately, as you saw in yesterday's TVC market update. So a couple of different options there. And again, a lot of those end very shortly after this video goes live. I also wanted to touch on the same seller that I touched on in my TVC market update. He's got a Clone Commander Cody proof card, AFA 8.5, and it's unpunched. Very nice example there. That's $100, and I received an offer for $85 on it. So you can maybe reach out to him and say, hey, I saw your item on Action Figure Grader. Can I get the same deal for $85? And as I talked about in my TVC market update, these cost, at least with CAS, these cost $150 just to grade them, plus shipping to and from CAS. So again, AFA must charge a lot less to grade these proof cards. But either way, I think that's a good deal at $85 for a AFA 8.5 foil Clone Commander Cody proof card unpunched. So good deal on that. Next up, here's a good example of an item that now that AFA has opened back up again, this is a good example of the type of item that you could maybe buy and send into AFA for recasing, reholdering with the new case style. So this is an uncirculated 85 no country of origin Stormtrooper. And you can see the label there, no COO, just means 2 dashes after loose action figure. This would appear on like Palatoy cards or Tri-Logos. And this is at auction. It ends Sunday evening at 10:21 Eastern time. Right now, the current bid is $71, but you could buy this one hopefully for under $200. It might go higher than that. I don't know, but you could send this in to get recased by AFA. Hopefully, the grade stays the same. I've had a number of items that I've sent in over the years to get recased with a new case style. I've never had an item change grade, but I know that the 5 Idiots Talking Toys, Charles and Chris, have sent in items where the grade has changed. So you're running a little bit of a risk that this would get lowered in grade. Me personally, I don't think it does. I think the grade will stay the same. It looks nice and bright white to me. There are some defects on the figure though, so that's the only reason why it might. You can see a little defect on the back of the calf there. And, you know, to me, it looks like an 85 grade, but it all depends on what AFA says. I can't tell if this is just dust or if this is degradation on the figure. So you run the risk again that this comes back as an uncirculated 80 instead of an 85 when you send it back in. It still would be an awesome figure to have, even if the grade gets lowered, but bid accordingly, okay? Don't overbid on it, just with the slight risk that the grade drops on this Stormtrooper. But, you know, it's an old case style. You could just leave it as is, too. You don't have to get it recased. I'm just making suggestions here because it is an old case style. It does rattle around inside. This one doesn't even have the pegs around the neck, so you know it's a fairly early case style from AFA. But buy that and maybe send it in and see what happens. But that one, again, ends Sunday evening. Here's another SWD mail-away baggie for Boba Fett. This seller has had a number of really nice high-grade baggies that he's listed here lately, and I've been sending these out to Patreon supporters and buy it now alerts. I know that there was a Darth Vader and then a C-3PO, both of those sold, but he also does have this. This just got listed this morning, so it's at $400, and I don't think that's a terrible deal. That's about where they sell, anywhere from $350 on the low end to about $400, $450, so it's kind of priced right in the middle there. I think it grades about an 80, but the most common Boba Fett baggie, but still a very desirable one, and it's awfully tempting to me too. I got to be honest with you. I'm trying to save up the coffers again after Hakes took all my money. So this one is a heat seal baggie, and it looks to be in really good shape. Probably would grade out about an 80 or 80 plus. So that one's at $400. Buy it now. This seller has a number of high grade, loose graded AFA examples for sale at auction, and these in Sunday evening. He's got an AFA 85 Squid Head standard Hong Kong, but it's got the archival case, brand new case style. Same seller also has an AFA 85 non-archival case for the TIE Fighter palette, standard Hong Kong. So that's 2 there. And that is it that I've shown, but I know this seller does have some others available at auction. He's got a Walrus Man AFA 80 plus. So check out that seller's items. Again, those 2 auctions end Sunday evening at 10:10 or around 10 o'clock Eastern time. Here is Al Vintage Toys. He's got this no COO Princess Leia Bespin. I sent this one out to my Patreon supporters. It's got 5 watchers. It's got a make an offer option. And this is the no COO Leia Bespin. I call this one the Leonardo DiCaprio variant because he's got that really wide face. And that happened after Leo started getting into some interesting party favors. And I'll leave it at that. Party favors that you put up your nose. That tends to cause a wide face. And this Leia Bespin has that wide face. You know, you'll see some Hong Kongs, which are much narrower in the face. And I just thought this was a nice looking example. And this one, I think, also does have the green neck that we talk about all the time, where the Leia kind of degrades and causes the neck to turn like a green color. So this is the turtleneck version, but it's also, it looks like it's got the green neck. It could just be lighting in the photos there, but every single angle looks like her neck has turned green, which is a common defect for some Leia Bespins. But it got the 80 grade, which is about right. And I think that's a nice variant to have. And no COO is always tougher to find than a Hong Kong. And that one's listed at 110 pounds, which is 138 US dollars. And again, there is also a make an offer option there. Brian's Toys has another AFA 85 yak face. This is another one that would be a good example to send in to be recased. Right now, the bid is $4.99 on this one. This one ends Sunday afternoon at 3:12 Eastern Time. AFA 85, and it looks to be every bit of an 85. So I think that you run the risk of the grade changing. I think the risk is pretty minimal on this one. I think you could send this one in and it would get the 85 in a recasing. So $499 is the current bid. That one ends Sunday afternoon. Chewbacca's Sack, great name there. And this is a seller I've bought from in the past. He just listed a UKG 85% R2-D2 pop-up saber with a make an offer option. Absolute beauty. The only defect I really see is that the label or the sticker for the body has maybe slightly yellowed, but it's very minimal. There's also one little kind of imperfection at the very bottom of the sticker on the front there that you can see. But looking at it from this angle, it's a very, very clean example. And I think that this is an 85 personally. It's about as good as I've seen on eBay. So UKG 85% R2-D2 pop-up saber, brand new case style, make an offer option. It's listed for 950 pounds, which is $1,193. I would try, if possible, to get that closer to $1,100 or less. So make an offer option. And again, it's a trusted seller that I've bought from several times. Beautiful example, though. I've got some comics before we dig into some mint on cards. I've got a Star Wars 68. This is the first appearance of the planet Mandalore as well as Mandalorians in comics. A pretty timeless cover, very desirable. Right now, the current bid is at $800. This one ends Monday at 8:38 Eastern Time. Beautiful copy, really nice centering and colors on this one. And that's a trusted seller, Reese's Rare Comics. If you're in the comic book world, you're very familiar with that name. They have very high-end comics, and I've bought from them in the past. Beautiful example. $800 is the current bid. I would try, if possible, to stay under $1,000. And again, that one ends Monday at 8:38 Eastern Time. We've got another newsstand, Heir to the Empire, #1, which is the first appearance of Mara Jade, Jorah C'baoth, as well as Grand Admiral Thrawn in comics. This is the harder to find newsstand. I bought my newsstand, Heir to the Empire, from this same seller. Very trusted seller. And right now, the current bid is only $34. The last one he had sold for in the 800 range, 800 to 850. I paid like $9 something for mine. So it's going down. Okay. Be aware of that. If you buy it now, it could go down further, but I think it's a really good time to buy this book. This book peaked at over $3,000. Now you can get it for less than $900. That's an incredible drop in the price for a book that has a very low census count in a 9.8 grade. So $34 is the current bid. It ends Sunday at 8:40 Eastern Time PM. Next up is a very tough to find retailer incentive edition for Star Wars Adventures #7. This has the Rebels team, Sabine Wren, Kanan Jarrus, Ezra Bridger, and it's got Era Syndulla, Chopper, and Zeb Aurelius. And this is the one, I think this is the 1:15 ratio variant. It could be the 1:10. I can't remember. But I know that this is a very low census count book. It's also the first appearance of Hondo Ohnaka in comic books, which he's a minor character, admittedly, but this is just a great cover. And this one is another one that was very expensive for a while, and it's come way back down in price. This one ends Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The current bid on this one is $67. I forgot to look up what the census count is for this book in a CGC 9.8, but it's very low. I bet there's less than 50 copies in a 9.8 grade. Very low print run, given that it's the retail incentive variation for this book. But I love that cover, and that's a good book. Next up is probably the best, and this is a grail that I have not seen pop up for sale in an auction on eBay, and it's a legit seller. It's a seller that has 122 transactions, 100% positive feedback, and it's Clone Wars #1, but this is the special edition version in a CGC 9.8. There are exactly 1,000 copies printed, and there's less than 200 in a 9.8 grade the last time I checked on the census. The current bid is $22.25. The last one on Comic Link sold for $3,300. So you still got some room there to make a bid. And it's an iconic cover. Obviously, the first appearance of Ahsoka Tano and Captain Rex in comic books. And again, it's the harder to find special edition where only 1,000 copies were printed for this book. That one again ends Sunday at 7:59 Eastern Time. Some mint on cards before we wrap this video up. This is a clear blister 79 back A AT-ST driver. Here's the back of the card. It is a punched example. It's also a clear blister. The subscores are 85, 80, 80 for an overall UKG 80%. And that is a beauty. The current bid or list price on this one is 300 pounds, which is $376 US. There's 5 watchers on this one. Make an offer option is also available. Again, I don't know what it's worth, but it is a clear blister. Harder to find this one in a clear blister. 79 back A. Beautiful example of the AT-ST driver with a clear blister. And again, make an offer option is available. Next up, we've got an AFA 80 Power of the Force Han Solo in carbonite. It's got a make an offer option. It's listed for $1,100. It's a beautiful unpunched card with no price sticker, straight as an arrow. Beautiful example there. The subscores are 75, 85, 90 for the figure score. So to me, I think that it's pretty close to fair market value, but I would try to get it for $900, but he's probably not going to take that. But, you know, again, it's unpunched, no price sticker, very high grade, and the yellowing is not too bad on it. So I had to show that on the channel. So it's got to make an offer. Next up, we've got an AFA 80 Plus Luke Stormtrooper, unpunched, no price sticker. It does have a little litho damage in the upper right-hand corner there, but beautiful straight card, and again, unpunched. 80, 85, 80 are the subscores on this one for an overall 80 plus. Absolute gem, and I know I've seen them sell for this price or even higher, so I think that this is not too far off either. There's 5 watchers on this one. There's been no takers yet, and he has not made an offer on it. So if you are looking for a mint on card Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper outfit, there you go. AFA 80 Plus unpunched example. Finally, this one is at auction. It's at auction, 330 transactions from this seller, and it is unfortunately down in Australia, but it's an AFA 85 Power of the Force Canadian yak face, one of the true holy grails from the vintage Kenner line. It's unpunched, absolute stunner, very light yellowing to it. The current bid is 10,100 Australian dollars, which is 6,557 US dollars. In theory, this one should go for 12 to 13,000 US dollars, but maybe it goes cheaper. You are running a risk that it doesn't arrive from Australia if you're not in Australia. But wow, what an absolute stunner. And this one and the Anakin Skywalker on the Power of the Force card are very, very pricey Holy Grail examples. So good luck if you decide to bid on it. The current bid is still well below market value. I'd say it's about 50% of market value. And I haven't looked at it closely, so make sure you do your homework on it. But everything checks out. The seller checks out, and I think it's a legit item. So good luck if you decide to bid on that one. As a reminder, please use the eBay affiliate links in the video description to help out the channel if you decide to do a buy it now or bid low and then come back later to win it. So thanks as always for those of you that do that and support the channel, and I'll be back soon.